Hey everybody, this is Rydo. I'll be looking at the, let's see, if we can close this Amazon Prime ad. We'll be watching the Bethesda live stream. In the lower right, we have a recap of the pretty, seriously?
From different countries.
Seriously, Amazon?
We have different interests.
On Twitch.
Points of view.
Oh, freaking.
We aren't all developers.
I had ad blocker on specifically to stop this
to make these
from
games.
happening.
A job we take very seriously.
So sorry for the setup here. Starting later than I would have liked. I got
fix things that are broken.
Got tied up into doing Lego. Yeah. The Microsoft showed over 50 games,
and on the edge of their seats.
And this is just like
the books balanced.
Looks like there's some kind of
interact with our community.
Something or other.
Most of all,
that's just on top here.
As old friends.
What is this?
And new. What unites us
log into Twitch. How do you hide this?
Games as diverse as the people who make them and play them.
Settings.
We're not just living
Advanced.
the dream. We're creating it. We are all. Bethesda Softworks, how may I direct your call? You can start the show.
Turn that off, I guess. So maybe I'll switch over to the YouTube, because I certainly don't want to watch the whole presentation with some ridiculous pop-up X-ray like let's see, what does this do? This is chat. This is online. This is this. Let's see. And it just won't go away. Let's see if we can find Bethesda's
global senior vice president,
link.
Pete Hines.
So, copy link address. We'll have to go down for just a brief second. Apologies for that.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Thank you guys very much. You sound good. I love you too. You look good.
This is all the kind of work that I should have.
As Paula said, my name is Pete Hines, and I'm delighted to be back on stage for Bethesda's 4th annual E3
I didn't choose to be different, to defy my master.
So whether you're here with us in the audience or you're one of the millions who are watching around the world,
I'll demute.
settle in. As Paula said, my name is Pete Hines, and I'm delighted to be back on stage for Bethesda's 4th annual
Of course,
E3
I'll have to.
Now, we've got all kinds of surprises in store for you tonight.
This
So whether you're here with us in the audience or you're one of the millions who are watching around the world, settle in, get ready for the very best in gaming.
There we go. Apologies.
Our theme this year is Create, and it's a theme
that wasn't my fault at all. That was Bethesda and Twitch, and between one of them decided to do something really stupid. Now we're watching the GameSpot feed.
Everyone at Bethesda is a part of the team that brings our games to life, and
whatever.
that extends to all
and
of
GameSpot's putting
because we create the worlds, but you create your own adventures,
YouTube
stories,
watermark on
and
it
experiences,
for no reason.
And it's your passion for games
you can't
that drives us
copyright
every day.
Advertisements. And GameSpot certainly wouldn't have a claim to it.
For Bethesda as we released some of the best games of 2017.
So yeah, Microsoft did over 50 game announcements. And
The Evil Within 2.
I don't think we'll get as much from
Wolfenstein 2.
Bethesda. They've kind of
even released
tapped
exciting
out.
updates for The Elder Scrolls Online.
I will be looking at the chat if anybody wants to has
open
anything to
world
say.
VR with Fallout 4 and
To
Skyrim,
me, and I'll
plus
respond
Doom
to
VFR.
that. The other
And we
thing
even released our
is
first two
hopefully
games for the
notifications
Nintendo
when people
Switch.
actually can see this
So we were
stream.
thrilled when Metacritic named us the top publisher in the industry with the highest overall review scores
Let's see, I don't
across
think
all of our games.
I would give Bethesda that.
But tonight is about the future.
Bethesda's
We're here
owned
to
by
show you where
ZeniMax,
we're
and
headed
ZeniMax
and the games that we're
sues a lot
creating
of
that you'll
people
soon be
and
playing, the worlds
doesn't-
that you'll be inhabiting in the next year.
hasn't
and beyond.
really
So
invested
we're
as
starting with the
much
game that we announced a few
into,
weeks ago through our
like,
friends at Walmart Canada.
several of their games could have used more support, more money behind
Perhaps
it.
best known for their low prices and ability to keep a secret. So let's get things started with a look at Rage 2.
So this is 36 minutes in to the hour. Rage 2. The assumption here is that Rage 2 was actually going to be a Mad Max game. And then legal problems with the director and the owner of the rights to Mad Max popped up, and they canceled all Mad Max related things. There's a live band that's going to be playing. I was expecting some harder core rock. Then I'm heavily turned up my piano. This is like dad rock. Like is this a real band, or is this just some in-house Bethesda band? It's just like I don't know anything about music, so this could be a hugely popular band, but looking at the people in the audience, they don't seem very interested by it either. This is like a wrestling thing, like something you expect for WWE. It's not really playing hard, it's playing closer to pop music, and they've got all this long hair. The tent that they are in is considerably smaller than the audience at the Microsoft conference. I'm not sure you want to play the drums barefoot. I guess he knows what he's doing. So because there was over 50 games announced or mentioned at the Microsoft thing, the lower right screen is going to take quite a while to scroll through all of that. Whereas here, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just wasting time right now, and they may only have 3 or 4 things to talk about. They're not showing anything that's actually on the screen, and they're showing very small groups of people that are tapping their toes. I think he just tucked his microphone into his pants. Yes, he did. And just the entire audience doesn't care, and it's such a small audience compared to Microsoft's. They should not have cut any cameras to show the audience in that comparison. do a shot like this where it looks like there could be a much larger audience, but you're not showing it.
Let's give it up again for Andrew WK, the perfect song for Rage 2.
Andrew WK. Okay, I have heard of him. I probably have never listened to any of his music.
My name is Tim Willits, and
I
I am the
listen to video
studio
game music,
director at
which is
Software.
different.
And I'm Magnus Nedfors, game director at Avalanche Studios.
And
either one of them is really short, or one of them is really tall. I would imagine Magnus may be 6'6", 6'7",
crazy ideas,
and
when we
the guy on the left is
and we
like
needed the right
5 even,
to bring
because the
our
microphone itself
now,
that's in front of him and that is in the wrong place, considering the guy that's talking now isn't using that microphone.
As we're about to show you, they delivered
he must
big
be
time.
5 even at best, maybe 4.5.
Well, thank you, Tim.
So the things about Rage 2 that we're interested in is there a better story than the ending that most of the people who made it to the ending seem to not like compared to Rage 1? Is there a more interesting character because it's not the same character from the first game?
For everyone at Avalanche Studios,
and does the gameplay and graphics
for us.
Still play well and look good?
Is perfect for our style of gameplay. But even more exciting than that has been to work with these guys.
There's already going to be a flood over the next 2 or 3 years of bland-looking first-person shooters. Rage probably has an artistic style that is unique enough to stand out from the crowd, but there is also a danger of Rage 2 coming out right when something like Borderlands 3 comes out, or Border Worlds, whatever they actually call it.
So Rage 2 transports players into a dystopian future, devoid of society, law, and order. Now you play as Walker, the last
There's a funny
ranger
thing
of
here
the wasteland.
is that
now, you know, I can talk all night about our guns,
Dan
the powers
Aykroyd,
you'll use, the vehicle combat,
man,
and of course,
John
the
Ritter.
crazy, open world.
No.
But I know that
the guy
you
who
are
plays
here
Dan
to
on
see
Roseanne
the game.
was a voice-acted
Well,
character in
do
Rage
we
1.
have Rage 2 playable
So,
at our booth at E3.
if he comes back, that would be a little bit controversial.
An extended look
just
at the world
by connection.
and gameplay of Rage
John
2.
Goodman. Yeah,
Let's
that's
check it out
John
right
Goodman.
now.
So if we hear John Goodman's voice, that'll be interesting. So
Asteroid on a collision
43.
course with Earth.
Rage 2.
Global extinction event.
80% of the Earth's population dead.
Where?
God turned his back on humanity long ago. It wasn't a war. It wasn't global warming.
Most of Rage was a
fucking
desert
asteroid.
area.
I was born in this shithole. Parents murdered. An orphan of this wasteland. An army of mutants killed everyone I ever loved.
Were there mutants in the first game?
All that's left is hate.
I only played Rage for a couple hours and then
the
I
need for
got busy.
survival.
Pretty much the case is that I got
I
very
stood by,
busy right about the
did
time that
nothing.
all the games that are
And
coming
now,
out
I'm
now
the
that are
last ranger of
sequels,
this wasteland. And there's only one thing
by the time that
left
the
to do.
originals came out, so a few years ago, 4 or 5. It's kind of odd.
Hello,
for
E3, and welcome to the world of Rage
this
2.
kind
In
of
a
does look
moment,
like
we'll dive
Borderlands.
headfirst into the Eden spaceport mission, where Walker, our main
So it needs
protagonist,
to
is out to find a rare
Need to
artifact
differentiate,
that will aid him in his
differentiate
quest
itself
to
a
take
little
down the
bit.
authority.
Doctor, I'm approaching the Eden Space Center.
Ah, yes, I forgot to say.
We'll want to see the
Might
weird
be overrun
boomerang
by bandits.
weapon.
The Goon Squad, to be precise. You must likely slay them first, before pulling down the eco-pod from orbit and securing the untainted nanotrites therein.
That's a lot of jargon. A danger of having Fallout, a game full of mutants and ghouls, and Prey, Rage 2 that is full of mutants apparently.
Doctor, you've made it to the Space Center.
That's nice. Seamless open worlds. That certainly was something they were trying to work on, is having an engine that they wanted a graphics engine that was seamless. There's the boomerang. Seems like the character has a dash move of some sort that literally skips him a few feet in different directions. Kind of classic, the world gets red as you take damage. But there's...
It sings! Rocket, singing songs to the... It mounts on the wall. It's motion sensor activated. It's the Rocket the Crusher talking acting, and it can be yours wild and flat. Rage.
The brightly colored hair seems out of place. They're either teleported the character or they just cut one footage into another footage, because we're in a completely different location now. Yeah, it's cutting footage together in a style I prefer games not do, or trailers not do, because it's confusing. Like every time it cuts to a new scene, you're left with half a second of confusion, and you have to look around. And meanwhile, the first-person shooter element is still going on in the middle of the screen, where you're looking at the people who are attacking you.
Made it, Doc.
Excellent. Now, look for this
They're
central
calling him
computer.
Mr. President.
You will initiate the recall procedure for Eco-15, still in orbit.
Recall sequence approved. Beginning EcoPod recall.
Seems like it might be the first mission of the game.
It's down. The EcoPod made it.
I know, and so does the Authority. Hurry, get the untainted nanotrites and get out. Also for you, there is an extra boon. Something that will make you a veritable superhero.
Elevator's still running. So far, so good. Looks like Ranger Walker's gonna get a bit of a boost today.
So this is a RPG elements of gaining new abilities. Looks like it's, for the most part, a melee attack with a dash. Which is a kick attack on top of a kick attack. This might be a better written Bulletstorm style game. I'd be alright with that. But honestly, I think I'd be happier playing a Mad Max game, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of unofficial patch that turns this back into a Mad Max game, which this seems like it pretty well could have been that. I'm not seeing major abilities in this trailer, at least, that couldn't be explained away in a Mad Max game. I feel like the attitude is Dad's trying to be cool a lot, though. It feels a little pathetic and insincere.
From Bethesda Softworks, Christian Van Hoos.
Okay, so 20 minutes into this, we're into
How's
the
it going,
next
everybody?
game.
I'm Christian Van, who's the community manager for The Elder Scrolls Legends.
How old is this guy?
For the past year, we have taken what I think is the
Is
best
he
digital
like a
card
streamer
game
that they
and
just
made
hired?
it even better. New cards, new modes, new ways to play, and much more. But we wanted to push ourselves even further. So tonight,
Legends.
I'm thrilled to announce that
I
we
play
will soon
Hearthstone
be relaunching The Elder
2
Scrolls
days a
Legends
week.
with brand new, totally overhauled visuals.
I considered playing
I'm
Elder
also
Scrolls
very
Legends,
excited to let you all know
but
that
it
Legends
seem
will
like
be
it was
available later this
pretty
year
popular.
on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4.
Like, there's a big danger in playing a collectible card game
But there's
with
no
Bethesda,
reason to
the
play the
company
game that
famous
Apple
for
awarded
selling
Best
horse
of
armor.
the Year in 2017.
And they
Download
would
The
nickel
Elder
and
Scrolls
dime you
Legends
much
for
more
free
than
and join me
Activision Blizzard
tonight
would.
on PC, mobile, or tablet. And any progress you make in the game will be carried over to the console versions through your Bethesda.net account.
I think I made one of those to download Fallout Shelter.
And now, let's take a look at the
like a year
future
ago,
of Legends.
and then never used
and
it
see why this isn't
again.
just my favorite card game, but will soon be yours as well.
This could be interesting though if they can get people to play. People are burning out with
One
Hearthstone.
game is all it takes. But Legends
Although I'm not
never
sure.
stay simple. Never stay
Like
small.
I would have to see
This is action.
people playing
This is
Elder
story.
Scrolls Legends
This is
more
competition.
often,
This
and
is
people
easy to
watching
pick up.
people play it
This
more
is
often
hard
than
to put
Hearthstone
down.
on Twitch to make a switch.
This is a 5-minute train ride. This is a 5-hour marathon. This is for any way you play. This is for anywhere you play. This is for strategy fans. This is for those who want magic at their fingertips. This is for those
Looks
who want
like
dragons.
they
at
could
their
have filmed these people with a
This is a game
background
where legends are born.
instead of just it being in a
This
dark room.
is for you.
They could have green screened the background and done something there.
From ZeniMax Online Studios, Matt Fyrer.
I'm not even sure what I was expecting from Bethesda. I'm kind of not expecting
I'm
them
Matt
to
Fyrer, I'm the
announce
game director on the Elder
anything.
Scrolls Online.
Really?
Uh,
Maybe a new mobile game and that's it.
Thank you.
Updates to Elder Scrolls Online.
Before I get started tonight, I just want to do a shout out. It was really great. We started the showcase tonight with the video highlighting the really talented people that work behind the scenes to make
because we
all
already
of these
knew
great
about
games possible.
Rage 2, and I imagine Rage 2 would have been a very confusing and shocking starter.
So standing here on stage,
so
I'm
what's
representing
the
a whole lot
showstopper
of
going to
amazing
be?
people at ZeniMax Online Studios that I go to work with every day. It's a great honor and privilege.
That's an interesting
So
thought.
I go to work with them every day, but at night I go home, log into Elder Scrolls Online, and I get to play games with you guys, the best gaming community in online gaming.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that if it's your job to work.
We are such big fans of
To
what
work
we do.
at
We play
Bethesda,
the games
you
just
should
as,
either be
you know,
paid
we
to
make
play
them,
the game
and
or not
we
play the
just as
game.
much as you guys do. It's what we do. You know,
Don't
so
work
you might not
off-
know it, but we're right there
off
alongside. I'm
work
playing there
hours.
with you. I'm
That's
running
bad
dungeons. I'm
work-life
exploring
balance.
Tamriel, questing, crafting, decorating my house, PvPing, stabbing.
The general idea is that as long as the Elder Scrolls Online
And
succeeds,
I'm really humbled to say that the Elder
they will
Scrolls
not
Online
make
community just
another
keeps
Elder
getting bigger.
Scrolls single
We're
player
over
game.
11 million players now.
So, no Skyrim 2
And
or
over
a sequel to
1 million of
Skyrim,
those
whatever
came
it
in
would
just the
be,
last
it's
year
probably
alone.
not going to be called Skyrim 2. And as long as they keep
So last year
getting
was
people
really
to
great for
rebuy
us in a whole lot
Skyrim,
of ways. We were named MMO of
they're
the
not
year.
going to make anything more new.
For the third straight year. We released Morrowind.
Let's see.
A lot of great DLC, and just
I
last
don't
week
believe
we released
Deus
Somerset,
Ex
the latest chapter
is
in the Elder
made
Scrolls
by
Online.
Bethesda. I think that's Square Enix. So I'm
it's
thinking
been,
games here that
received
they could
with
talk about
great
are
critical acclaim.
Dishonored,
Everyone loves it. You
Prey,
get to travel to the island
a
home
new
of the
Elder
High Elves
Scrolls
for the first time
game,
in 20 years. It's great for new players.
and I
If
bet
in
they
the off
don't
chance
talk
you
about
aren't
any
playing
of
Elder Scrolls
those.
Online, this is a great chance to jump in and play. And of course, all you veteran ESO fans are already there.
Do they own the people who made L.A. Noire?
They
shut down
every quarter
and
chapters.
But I think they might
content comes out so regularly for Elder Scrolls
license
Online.
to that.
We're already working on our great plans for next year. But before that,
I really don't.
The next DLC coming out is a dungeon DLC named
This
Wolf
show
Hunter,
is probably going to go about 40 minutes, and they won't have anything to say. I had predicted 2019 was going to be the year of the vampire. At this point, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. It seems
we're going back to Blackmarsh.
Much likelier that it's going to be 2019 is going to be the year of first-person shooters and bland first-person shooters. Like probably more than 12 are coming out over the course of 2019.
That runs through all of the Elder Scrolls Online's content, and that is great storytelling. From the launch game,
nobody's going
to
want to play a new first-person shooter.
It's really what holds the game together.
Every month.
But it's not just the stories that we as developers create for you guys to experience. It's also the stories that you create together when you play this great virtual world. So I'm going to leave you tonight with a video highlighting just some of the amazing stories and memorable characters.
Is that really going to be the end of this whole stream?
Thanks, everyone. See you in Tamriel.
ZeniMax, the parent company of Bethesda, has more than enough money to be investing in and show off trailers for many new IPs. There should be, I'd say, at least 2 that they should be able to show per year, at least in this stream. The other thing to consider is Microsoft announced the starting of about 3 studios and the acquisition of about 2. So ZeniMax could have just acquired a couple of companies and acquired the games that those companies were making, or started some new studios or something to at least give us the slight indication that Bethesda and ZeniMax in general is not just a 2-trick pony, with Fallout being 1 trick and Elder Scrolls being the other trick. Of course, last year they did release Prey and Dishonored, and neither one of those games I think got enough funding or advertising, so they did alright, but they probably weren't the top 10 of the year games. The other thing, the elephant in the room with Bethesda, is Bethesda games are traditionally known to be extremely buggy. So if you just got programmers to come out and say, we're working on a new engine that we're going to use on Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and it's going to be brand new, and it's going to be heavily focused on not creating the bugs that you've seen in our previous titles, and we're going to give you a much better experience. You can also definitely argue that Witcher 3 ate the Elder Scrolls series lunch when it came out and raised the bar, and at the very least Bethesda has to try and match that. So now we're 58 minutes and about 30 minutes into a stream. Oh yes, Doom. So it makes all the sense in the world to tease Doom 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come out till 2020. I don't know how many new people you can get into playing Doom. The fans that are there are there. It's a little bit of too controversial of a art style to expect it to be played by a million more players. In a funny way, Doom will probably do what Agony was trying to do in a much better gameplay mechanic. Doom guy looks a little too close to Master Chief. Maybe that's because Master Chief Still the concept of the art style. Is this called Doom Eternal? Is it actually a sequel, or is it?
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Or is
I'm Marty
it
Stratton, executive producer
some kind of online
Doom
thing?
Eternal.
And I'm Hugo Martin, creative director on Doom Eternal.
I have to applaud Bethesda for at least having the people in suits and dressing
In 2016,
formally.
we launched our reboot of Doom and have been blown away by
A
your
lot of
support
people
and
came
excitement
out
for
in
the game.
Microsoft in just
Thank
casual
you.
clothes.
In fact, it's a combination
I mean,
of your passion and our team's
to be
love
fair,
of making Doom.
the guy
that has
on the left
motivated us
still has
to
just a
deliver
t-shirt
even
on,
more.
but he has a coat on.
So
and
we're
the guy on the right
back
has
to
jeans
announce
on, but he
Doom
has a coat
Eternal.
on. So they look more professional. And professionalism in the video game industry is a little bit better.
awesome
Their
new
shoes
sequel to Doom.
still are inappropriate.
For the past 2 years, it's been so inspiring to hear you guys talk about what you'd like to see next. And I got to tell you,
There's
we're
a very
right there with
good
you.
argument about
Like, you want
people
the Doom Slayer to
proving
feel
that
even
they
more
know
powerful?
what they want people to do and what the appropriate
Well, we got it.
action or dress is.
You want even more
So-
badass demons.
So
Well,
when
there are twice as many in this
game
game.
developers come on stage and they don't look
You want to see hell on earth?
dressed up,
Well, we
they're
just teased it.
proving that
But what we're most
they
excited
either
about is to show
don't
you some
know
of the
what
things
people
that
expect
you
of
might not
them,
be expecting.
or they don't
That's
care.
right, including a ton of
And
features
that
that we'll
does
have
not
to save for
inspire
later
faith
because our
in
team
larger
will be debuting
aspects.
Doom Eternal at QuakeCon this August.
It's kind of interesting that
We'd love for you to
Bethesda
join
even
us
has a
live in
stream
Dallas,
considering
or of course you can tune in
considering
online
QuakeCon
to catch all the
happens.
fun. But until then, we want to thank everyone who continues
I
to
would
play
like
Doom.
to see these
Thanks,
presentations
Thank you.
spread out amongst throughout the year. And I'd like to see every game only teased about 6 months before it actually comes out. So this is a Quake symbol. Is
How's
there
everybody
anything,
feeling tonight? Pretty hype?
Anything new to say?
Just like a little
about
hype
it?
or like crazy hype right now, right? Let's go.
I'm also learning to hate
Hi.
when I
I'm
hear
Joshua Boyle, community manager
game
for
developers or
very
mainstream
much.
game media use the
Ever
phrase
since
hype,
the first Quake title was released in
considering it was a
1996, our games have
kind
been
of
shaped by
insult
you,
against
players.
those two
And that
groups.
proud tradition continues
and a
with
bad
Quake
thing.
Champions,
Hype's
which
a
has
bad
evolved
thing,
with
not a good
community in
thing.
mind and will always be the fastest and most fun multiplayer
Yeah,
shooter.
it's a bad
period.
thing at least now because being excited about a game
And that's not the
usually
only
is
tradition
100%
that
being
Quake's
over
continuing.
excited about a game.
These days, we're hearing a lot of talk about esports, but Quake has been there from the very beginning. In fact, we
Are they
started
gonna
hosting
try to make
competitions at
an
QuakeCon
esport
over 20 years ago.
push, I guess?
It's here for QuakeCon. And this year, we'll expand on our legacy as the original esport with everything from intense grassroots competitions to major tournaments at QuakeCon and DreamHack Winter. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're
I don't think
continuing
they're really
to build with more
talking
competitions
about
for more
in
players
game here.
than ever before.
So they're really stretching it to an hour.
But I gotta tell you guys, we can't stop, won't stop until we've delivered a game that's fun for everyone, whether you're a Quake dad or a brand new baby to the arena.
This guy's
That's why we just added a
so
bunch of
pathetic.
new features to make it even easier for you and your friends
you set
to
the
jump
tone
in and get good
with
together.
the rock band at the beginning, the Andrew WK at the beginning. And
We're still
this
in
guy
early
just makes
access,
it
but
worse.
tonight we want to welcome all of you into the arena.
So Quake Arena.
For this week only, we're
Or Quake
opening up Quake
Champions.
Champions to everyone through a trial of our free-to-play version before it even launches.
Is Quake Champions the free to
Plus,
play
if you
version
get
of
in
Quake
and
Arena?
download this week, you can stay and keep playing Quake Champions for free even after the trial closes.
Okay, I guess I'll go download it if it's on Steam.
So head to Quake.com and start playing with me and all of my Quake family tonight.
I think he said if you get in, so it might be.
Don't miss your chance to join one of the most passionate and welcoming communities in gaming. Now, for a taste of what you'll be playing
Quake
tonight,
Champions anyways.
after our showcase is
It's
over,
an online game. I only play
check out our new trailer for Quake Champions.
Story-themed games for the most part.
3, 2, 1.
So, Quake Champions is an attempt to do what Overwatch did, and kind of what Battleborn did, and I'm sure several other hero shooters have done. And I haven't heard many people say that it was particularly special. I haven't heard anything said particularly awful about it or particularly good. I would say that the Quake areas and maps seem to be much more focused around making a more video gamey map instead of a more natural looking map that would be realistic. And Overwatch, I think, probably has more characters at this point and more objectives at this point. And if you were going to play a game like this, I don't know why you wouldn't want to play the most popular one, which is Overwatch. They've been advertising and pushing Quake Champions for a year, it seems, if I'm recalling correctly. And see, this is... I'll install Quake Champions if it's on Steam, but if it isn't on Steam, I won't even bother. What we really need is a announcement
E3 from all of us at Arcade
new
Studios
Elder
here in Austin,
Scrolls
Texas.
or
It's been 1 year since we launched Prey, and we want to send
or
a big
Fallout
thanks to our
game
incredible
besides
fan base
Fallout
for your support.
76,
We've been so
or
inspired
at least
by your
give us
passion
more
and
information about
enthusiasm.
Fallout
And as a way of showing
76.
our appreciation, we're rolling out a huge free update for Prey tonight.
The next time you fire up Prey, you're going to see 3 new modes. Story mode, New Game Plus,
which was a big fan request,
and Survival mode, which should be an
So-
interesting challenge for our most hardcore fans.
but that's just the beginning. We are really excited to
That's
tell
gonna
everyone
be
that
a
we've
really-
also been working on a new Prey DLC, an infinitely replayable experience called Moon Crash.
It's a new twist on Prey where the enemies, hazards, and loot are all different each time you play.
We're so excited. We can't wait to what?
Of course, you have to know that Prey is full of aliens that can turn into other objects to even understand that
is a
gag.
harsh mistress. The
Um,
longer you're here, the harder things are going to get for you. Let's get to work.
so,
Let's get to
I feel like Prey could have been a better game, could have been funded better, could have taken a year. You're getting the exact admittance here that they didn't even have time to put in the New Game Plus, so they had to put it in a year later in an update, which tells you that had they just announced Prey right now with the features they're adding to the updates, and maybe this DLC is already done and teased or in the main game, I think it would be a much bigger experience and get reviewed better. There is also a slight implication of some spoilers in this DLC that are spoiling the ending of the main game. I won't point them out, but it's pretty obvious. So the available now is continue playing a game that you probably have already played if you were interested.
All right, before we begin, yes, Mom, I'm still alive. No, I'm not a mimic.
Hang on. There. I just want to make sure nobody tries to smack you because I saw Pete Hines with a wrench backstage a second ago.
Thank you, Ricardo. That's very sweet of you. So,
this guy on the left,
like all arcade
he's a
games,
programmer,
Prey is about playing your own way,
but he
and
looks
Mooncrash
like
is
an
no
actor.
So you just saw a lot of cool
let's
stuff
see.
that's available tonight, but we're not done yet. We have one more surprise coming later this summer called Typhon Hunter.
Typhon Hunter is a lethal game of hide and seek, where one player goes head-to-head against 5 other players who get
They're
to
putting
be
a lot of
mimics.
games as service
And
multiplayer modes
just like in
into
Prey,
Prey.
the mimic players can disguise themselves as everyday objects. So, you know, things like a chair,
Either they're
a coffee mug,
advertising
a space
elements that they
banana,
really didn't want in the
whatever
game,
works, but
or they didn't
definitely
want the
not
single
a
player in the game.
coworker. Right, Susan?
Absolutely not. Probably not.
No!
Anyway, Typhon Hunter is a tense multiplayer mode that requires teamwork and improvisation and a very high tolerance for jump scares.
Before we go, I just want to say thanks on behalf of the whole team at Arcane Studios to all of our fans around the world who have played Prey and love it. We made this game for you, and we are constantly inspired by your creativity and enthusiasm.
Thank you so
the
much,
focus
everyone.
here of adding more content to the game a year later tells me that they have not been approved to begin work on Prey 2. And
Please welcome
I wouldn't be
Jens
surprised
Matthees and Jörg
if
Gustafsson.
the company that made Prey is shut down in the next couple years and not
Hello, friends.
not allowed to continue.
I'm Jens
working.
Mattis, the creative director.
I forgot
of
about
Machine
Wolfenstein, so
And I'm
I guess you have to do a trilogy, so they have to tease Wolfenstein 3, don't they?
Last year, millions of you took to the streets and sparked a revolution in Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
Or they could do a side story again, like they did the Old
As
Blood.
BJ Blazkowicz, you rallied the American resistance, and you beat the living fuck out of those Nazis.
Thank you for embracing our game. We were honored to win Best Action Game at the Game Awards last December.
I kind of
We
felt
are
like
excited
Wolfenstein
to
2
bring
was
Wolfenstein 2 to
overrated
Nintendo
as a good
Switch
game.
on
It
June
was
29th, so you can
probably
fight the
is a
Nazis on the
great
go.
game, but I feel like it was in a weird political
Wolfenstein
activism
Revolution
against
continues with our next
actual
project,
Nazis
which leaps ahead in
and
time
people.
to tell the tale
A lot of people who
of
call other
BJ's
people who aren't
twin
Nazis
daughters.
Nazis. They
Set in the 1980s
they decided
in
to
Paris,
promote the game.
Wolfenstein
And
Youngblood
they kind of
pushes
were
the
not
story forward.
interesting. So it is a sequel to the Old Blood.
And because this game features BJ's twin daughters, Wolfenstein Youngblood will be a co-op experience.
So you have a co-op Wolfenstein game.
So while you can play it
Okay.
solo, you can also join with a friend to save the world together. The resistance is counting on you.
But this is also getting rid
All
of
right, Hollybos, let's
the
check it
old
out.
BJ Blazkowicz character, who had already been pretty drastically changed as a character compared to the original Wolfenstein games or the much better known Wolfenstein 3D games.
I've been fighting all my life for this world. It never ends.
So this has to be past the time point,
Everything they have
though.
at you.
Well, I don't know if it does, because in Wolfenstein 1 you get like frozen and you wake up
stand up and
decades
carry it.
later.
It's not about the pain you can deal. about how much you can take.
In the Microsoft press conference, they had Gears 6. I guess this does have to be far in the future. So like Gears 6 is not starring Marcus Phoenix, and now Wolfenstein Youngblood is not starring BJ Blazkowicz. And so these
Bethesda,
names are kind of getting added to characters
VR technology
who,
that we revealed at E3 2012.
who are,
Since then,
in
we've
this case
delivered
at
some
least,
of the very
new
best VR
characters.
experiences in gaming, from
And I
Doom
think that's
to
probably true
Fallout
for
4
Gears
to
6
Skyrim,
also.
and we're not
And,
done. Two of the
it
franchises
is
that we just heard about
obviously
are
they're
gonna also
converting
offer
games
VR
where you played as
So,
a dude
when
into a
Prey's
game where you're
Typhon
playing as a
Hunter is
girl,
released later this summer,
which
you'll be
I'm
able to
perfectly
experience the
happy with. I
competitive
just now
mode
question
that
all those
Susan and
times
Ricardo
that
were just talking
people
about in
said
virtual reality.
guys wouldn't play as
And
girls,
it will
and it
also
would
include
cause
a
their game
single-player
to sell
experience
less,
that puts you in the
because
boots
that's what
of
was being
TranStar
said for
employees
decades and
working to solve
decades, and so
puzzles
apparently
aboard the
now
Talos
that's
1
not a
space
concern.
station. I'm also excited to
It's
announce
not really
a
a
new
step
Wolfenstein
forward
VR
because
game.
you're still forcing the player to play as some
It's
gender.
called Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, in which you play a hacker who can take over Nazi robots and turn these war machines against their masters.
This is crazy.
In our ever-ending quest to bring the message of fuck Nazis to every platform possible.
Yeah, and they're certainly advertising the games like that, but that's not really the game that Wolfenstein 2 was.
Both the Prey and Wolfenstein VR experiences are playable this week at our booth at E3, so
They're
please stop by
they're
and give them a
eroding
try.
their own identity
Now,
in the game
we are really
by
excited
not
about everything that we've shown here
expanding
tonight, but I know
the
there are a lot of
characters.
you
In
who
fact,
are really
most of the
here
characters from
or
the first
really wondering
Wolfenstein
about
reboot
Fallout 76.
would have done really well if
And
they
I'm
were
pleased to tell you
further
that your
expanded
wait
in
is
Wolfenstein
finally
2,
over.
but most of those characters
Ladies
were
and
killed
gentlemen,
in the first
He's the
game.
recipient of numerous
just
Lifetime
poorly
Achievement
killed
and Hall
off.
of Fame awards. He's the game director at a studio that has won a bevy of accolades and awards. And he's here tonight to tell us what he and his team have been taking so damn long to tell us all about. Will you please welcome my very good friend, Mr. Todd Howard.
The name Wolfenstein kind of stops even making
We're all
sense
here.
once you get away from BJ Blazkowicz.
Looking good.
It barely made any sense even
Oh, it's
then.
great to be back at E3. Thank you so much. I could not be more excited to be here. I want to thank all our fans who came out tonight.
Wolfenstein's a very interesting series considering
And the millions of you
how many
watching
different people
online. We
have
can't thank you
had
enough.
their hands on
This is
that series
actually my
as far as different
25th
companies
year
that made
at
something called
Bethesda. And I have
Wolfenstein.
seen I have seen a lot of cool things in that time. I gotta say, tonight is definitely one of them.
I watched the first
I got to
season
go
of The
to
Man on the
very
High
first
Castle.
E3
I thought that
right
would have
here
been a
in
slightly
Los
interesting
I know.
video
They're
game
so cute when they're little.
to adapt story
They're
to
full of
adapt.
energy and life. And then, remember when little E3 ran away from home, went to Atlanta? Yes, a lot of you didn't come. I liked Atlanta, or East Coast. And then E3 went through the moody teen years and came
So
back
he's
and
got
locked itself
nothing
in
to
its
say
room.
whatsoever, so he's wasting
Remember, it was in the convention
time.
center.
He's
but
been on
just in the
stage
meeting
for
rooms,
about
they
2
didn't
minutes
invite
now
anybody.
and hasn't said anything.
And I can remember literally walking between the halls and seeing nobody. I was like, this is how a zombie movie starts. And now E3 has grown up. It's in its 20s.
Let's just do a
it's more
quick recap.
confident, can
We
handle
saw
alcohol
Rage
better,
2,
like all
Elder
of
Scrolls
you.
Legends, Elder
Thank
Scrolls
you.
Online, Doom Eternal, QuakeCon, and DreamHack
No, there's a
Esports
good-
was talked
there's a
about.
good party after
Quake
this, so pace
Champions,
yourselves.
Prey update with the Mooncrest
I hope you're comfortable,
DLC.
by the way. I'm gonna be here for a while.
Wolfenstein Youngblood showed us a trailer. Wolfenstein
And E3 has
Cyberpilot was
become
just named.
such an incredible
And
week of entertainment.
supposedly he's supposed to be
that most of
talking
you
about
came
Fallout
here
76.
For one thing.
And
Thank you.
we've almost gone for an hour now. It's been 50 minutes, just about. And they really have
I
nothing
think
to
it's to see
show
where we're putting Skyrim
and nothing to say. So apparently it's not
Well, I
Fallout
think we have the
76.
best one yet.
The Elder Scrolls speak of the past and the future. Now, Skyrim looks to the future, to its ultimate version.
This literally is a new Skyrim. It's like a mobile.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
Now, Skyrim and life become one.
A mud crab scuttles towards
First
you.
Roda.
I didn't catch that.
First Roda!
I didn't quite
This
catch
is just
that.
a joke.
Your shout echoes all the way to Sovngarde.
What happened?
First Roda. That's the command for knocking things over.
Is there a command for picking shit up?
Haven't reached that level yet.
I'm sworn to carry your burdens.
Ooh.
The dragon unleashes fire breath on you.
So
You
this,
have 7%
like
health
the
left.
tiny build presentation.
You are out of health potions.
How many wheels of cheese do I have left?
473.
Okay, I eat all the cheese. I eat all of the cheese.
Hey, hun.
Yep.
Remember what the doctor said about dairy?
Yes. Right, yes, of course. You're the greatest. Thank you so much. I ate all of the cheese.
Introducing Skyrim, very special edition. Also coming soon to Etch-a-Sketch, Motorola Pagers, and your
Like,
Sim
this
Sims
is way too much money. You paid an actor, you had a set, you wrote a script here for this gag, and if they actually wrote this and it actually works for real, that's even more time and money you wasted on
Okay,
on that.
really. We both know why you're here, and that's to talk about the next Fallout.
Let's see. So it has now
Fallout
been
76
6 minutes
is
since
a
they've said
prequel
anything
to all
important.
the other games, and it's our biggest one yet. It is 4 times the size.
It was Fallout
of Fallout
76.
4.
4 times the size, but very
Set in the
possibly
hills of West
a
Virginia,
completely
you are one
or
of the
close
first
to completely
emerge
empty world.
into an untamed and very
Like,
different.
it's not going to have settlements. It's not going to have super mutants. It might have some ghouls and some creatures. We're still not sure if this is even a single-player game or if it's some kind of online survival Rust-like game. Rumors was it was a Rust-like game, but they said it wasn't. But I'm not sure I believe them. And this may very well be the exact same trailer Microsoft showed.
300 years after our great nation began.
Yeah, this looks like it's the exact
we
same
gathered
trailer, which
together
I've
to honor the
seen
completion of
3
Vault
times
76.
with maybe there's a slight
This
difference.
sprawling underground shelter
I still
may
feel
have
like
been
this would have been
engineered
better
by
if they had
Vault
made a
Tech,
Bioshock
but it
game
was built
where you
by
spent the
you.
entire game in Vault
so
76.
that if the bombs do come,
fighting
our way of life
some kind of
will
rebellion
endure.
or other vaults digging into your vault and connecting underground. So you're gonna just have a bunch of dead things. There really shouldn't be any life. And you see like one creature, and that's it. This shows off a bunch of characters in a bunch of different outfits with different weapons. Notice the axe. I don't think even in Fallout 4 you can get an axe and just use that as your weapon.
Is stopped,
Notice the fireman suitor.
You must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately America itself.
I wouldn't... It would be pretty surprising right now, actually, if this turned out to be a mobile game and it's like an expansion of Fallout Shelter.
Our future
But
begins.
it kind of does sound like it is some kind of mobile game or strategy game. We need some real information here. And
Vault
they haven't given it to
76,
us.
one of the very first vaults to open,
They say the
was
exact same
built
thing
to
every
celebrate
time.
America's tercentenary, which is an awesome word, by the way. Like, that's your word of the night, tercentenary. You are one of the very special few selected to be an occupant and spend 25 years underground waiting for Reclamation Day, the day the vault opens.
Good morning, Vault 76. This is the Overseer. I hope you all enjoyed the party last night, even those who may have overindulged and overslept. But it's time to get up and get out there. We've been locked away long enough.
The question here really comes from, like, if this isn't a single player game, which indications are it isn't, then are all the players coming out of Vault 76? The thousands and thousands of people? Seems like it is.
Time to leave the vault. Most of the others have already gone.
It may be time to leave, but I'll never forget the day you all entered Vault 76. You come from every walk of life, every race, color, and creed. But
Yeah, they're gonna throw that in because they'll have a character customization
you are
in it,
this country's best and brightest.
which is what they added to Fallout 4, is that you could play as a male or female and characterize your appearance, customize your appearance. But they didn't go far enough to let you play as a ghoul or a super mutant or something like that, or an android. You still had to play as a human, which is a little
We always start with the world.
little
And this
controlled.
time it features all new rendering, lighting, and landscape technology. It allows us to have 16 times the detail.
What
and
many
even
are
view
assuming is this is
distant
a
weather systems
slight
across the map.
update to the Fallout 4 engine to improve it and walk
Now, most
towards the
people
next Fallout or
don't
the
know
next
West
Elder
Virginia
Scrolls
that
game.
well. It is an incredible array of natural wonders, towns, and government secrets. This is where the actual nuclear secrets are. And the quest the Overseer sends you on will take you through 6 distinct regions, each with their own style, risks, and rewards. There's
6
plenty of cool new
environments
Fallout
or
creatures,
regions.
and we even use the folklore of West Virginia to bring our Fallout versions to life.
So it kind of makes sense that they're gonna have to add a bunch of creatures, because this feels like an RPG grinding. Well, I guess Fallout has always been an RPG with grinding in it, but it never really felt so much around the grinding as much as
We
half
have
grinding and
always
half
wanted
storytelling.
to tell that story of what it will be like for you and the other characters who were first to leave the vaults.
I don't
There
think
is
that's
one
that
big
interesting of a
difference
story, though.
with this game. It's that each of those characters is a real person.
Which means the players make the story, and there will be no single-player story, really.
Because yes, Fallout 76 is entirely online. Okay. I know, there's a lot. You have like 1,000 questions right now. So I'm going to go through them in order.
And there's one person in the
Now, I'll
in
hit
the
a couple
crowd.
of the big ones. First, of course, you can play this solo. All right? You
can play it solo, but you have to be
exploring
online.
a huge world, doing quests, experiencing a story, and leveling up. We love those things about our games too. It would not have
It's
it
kind of
any other
contradictory.
way.
Is it always
But also,
online?
like many of you,
Or
we've always
isn't
wanted
it?
to see what our style of game could be with multiplayer. So many of us talk about experiences in our games, but we've never experienced them together. So about 4 years ago, we hit upon an idea that is perfect for Fallout. Open world, survival, every person
Is this something
and
like No
character
Man's Sky?
is real. And it was an idea that we just couldn't
Which
shake.
means we don't have
We
to
knew we
write
had to
any
do it
dialogue or
and
any
do it
interactions
in a
or
really
any
big way.
missions.
Now, I know you may have played survival modes in like some of our previous games or some other online games, and people wonder, is this hardcore survival? I like to think of it maybe, it's more softcore survival. Maybe that should be a new ESRB descriptor.
So Conan Exiles wouldn't
Death never means the
qualify
loss
as
of progression or
softcore
the loss of your character.
survival.
Your character isn't tied to one server. As a matter of fact, you'll never even see a server when you play. You'll be in a world with dozens, not hundreds and not thousands of other players. It's the apocalypse. It's not an amusement park, okay?
So
And
dozens
you'll
of
be able
other
to join your
players.
friends whenever you want, and all of your progression goes with you.
So it's a drop in, drop out type scenario.
When we think about games, we think about worlds and the choices that you can make, the stories that you create and tell yourself. By creating a wide open world with very few rules, we have a game more than any game that we've ever done where the choices are yours, where you'll decide what happens. You'll decide the heroes and you'll decide the villains. Look, this is a whole
So
new
there'll
world
just be
for all of us here.
people running around
Fortunately,
griefing
our friends
people.
at Vaultec have made a series of informational videos for when all of us emerge together.
So, yeah, it's just gonna be griefing, is all it's gonna be. It's just uninspired.
As you venture out
it's
into
an
this new
uninspired
American
idea.
frontier,
It's
some of
boring
your fellow
sounding.
survivors may not be neighborly.
And the right move, of course, would be to instantly attack somebody as soon as they exit Vault 76, which is probably the same exit point for every player, so you can just stand at the beginning and grief people and take whatever default equipment they have off of them, assuming you can loot them.
Chin up there, sport. Not all Vault 76 dwellers will be so hostile.
You seem to be getting
Find them and brave
money
the new world
for kills.
together. Whether you choose to explore the wasteland alone or with friends, your days will be filled with fun activities.
You can run like a rabbit, fly like a bee. No matter what you do, you'll never get away from me because I'm behind you, baby.
This is like a potential. It's going to have to compare itself to Borderlands 3 if Borderlands 3 ever comes out. Again, with Borderlands 2's ability for 4 players to play at the same time, which it seems like that's probably the case, as you at most have 4. I'm not even seeing 4, I'm seeing 3 people per team. So, why would you want to play Fallout with your friends when there's no story or the good parts of Fallout?
Like previous Fallouts, you can play this game solo in Quest. But the easiest way to survive in the Wasteland is to team up and build together. And in this one, you can build
Particularly since
wherever you want.
Fallout,
And you can also then move that to wherever you want.
Since Fallout 4 was also pretty much a failure. I won't say complete failure, but it was a failure. It did. That is going to burn out a lot of people from wanting to play this game too. I imagine a lot of people got bored with Fallout 4 and went back to either Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3.
With your home secure, you can now craft handmade ordnance at your leisure to give your altercations.
You almost want this building mechanic retroactively taken out of Fallout 4 since it was not as robust as this newer version will be, and it didn't really add anything. The whole settlement idea in Fallout 4 was just an experiment to try to introduce this.
Out of the ordinary.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game comes straight up with a extra fee, like you buy a year's access and that's it, that you can't actually buy the game.
Work with your neighbors to ensure success.
And also, even if you can buy the game, I would also wouldn't be surprised if you turn up a year or two from now and they shut down the servers.
Will shape the new American dream. What's that sound? Oh dear.
It might do better playing Monster Hunter World instead of this. Like, Monster Hunter World has more complicated systems and you're fighting monsters, and that's kind of all you're going to be doing in this game.
Yeah, we love dynamic game systems.
I was interested in Fallout 4 when it was announced.
Why don't we put
I was hoping it would have been really good.
Map?
I'm not interested in this at all.
And then let all of you do whatever you want with them.
Is it Battle Royale mode?
Episode, Atomics for Peace. When you emerge from the comfort and safety of your vault, the world you know will have changed. Take your friendly old neighbor Johnny. Rather than coming over to borrow a cup of sugar,
so it has an in-game mechanic of nuclear bombs.
For murder. The time has come to seek out greater means of protection.
And so they could just nuke
That's right.
places.
Courtesy of your Uncle Sam, these wonders of the atomic age can be found right in your own
How do you
backyard.
even play this game and protect your settlements? Do you have to have somebody online at all times to protect it?
Begin by inquiring with the locals. Gently coax them into cooperation.
I don't
Use a little
know
elbow
if there's
grease
more
if you
than
have to.
12 people online at a time. He said dozens, but this seems like 3. If there's 3 people per team and there's 4 teams, that's 12.
Code on your own, do not give up. Search for others who might be harboring a grudge. You'll have that nuclear launch code in no time. With the power of the atom at your fingertips, be responsible and consider your target carefully.
Attention. Launch sequence activated.
So very quickly, the entire world could be griefed and nuked and irradiated.
Will your bomb land on a rival camp of degenerates?
One assumes
a
that it would be irradiated.
The local wildlife?
Or
whatever your target may be, take advantage
does it
of the
eventually
resulting
rather
fallout
quickly
to
go
gather
back?
Rare and valuable resources.
So it's like Dark Zones in the Division
Yet these
game?
rewards don't come without risk. The fate of this new world is yours to command.
This feels
with the
like
power of
as
the
silly
atom.
as the idea of Metal Gear Solid 5's denuclearization achievement. It's just never
We
going to
know
happen
you've played a lot
the
of our
way
games and
they
a lot
want
of online
it to.
games,
happen.
But this one really is unique. We have built a platform, 100% dedicated servers that will support this game now and for years to come.
Dedicated
And look,
servers.
we
They have to
know
be
this is
dedicated,
new for
don't
all
they?
of you. It's new for us. It's a little bit scary. And to that end, we're going to need your help. Because yes, we are going to have a beta. And it is sponsored by our friends at Vault-Tec as well, the Break It Early test application. Because evidently, these online games are hard. They can have some nasty issues.
So this could also be
I
in
read on the
beta
internet
for
that our games have had a
years.
few bugs. I did. I read it on the internet, so it's true. And that sometimes it doesn't just work. Anyway, we know together that we are going to build something really special. And we also know that all of
We
you
are
love
not going to build
our
anything.
special editions. And
Clearly,
we have an
Bethesda
awesome
and
collector's edition
is
for
not
you.
going to do much work here at
It
all.
starts with a map of the world that glows.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna sell probably a custom
it's great.
collector's edition for $120.
So cool. It comes with figures you can put on the map. And it also comes with a Fallout collectible that really I've always wanted, so we made them for everybody to buy, and here it is.
Straighten up and fly right.
Now the Pip-Boy that you could put a phone in that was part of the hugely expensive collector's edition for Fallout 4 came out for Fallout 4, so I guess now you're getting power armor helmet with a voice changer. I seriously doubt they're selling the whole armor.
Yes,
Again,
all of this, the Fallout
a voice
76
changer
Power Armor
mask.
Edition. So you're probably wondering, when is this game
Basically
coming
a
out?
cheap toy.
We're excited to say that it's coming out this year, November 14th.
So they're having
Thanks
a beta,
again
but the beta is
for all
not
your
really that
support
much.
Of Fallout. It's been 10 years since Fallout 3, our very first one.
The
And
question
it's been an
here,
incredible journey with all of you.
since
We
it's been
do
10 years, why didn't they just do a
another Fallout
remaster of
anniversary
Fallout
that we are
1,
celebrating
which
here
is
at
an
E3.
older
It is the
top-down
3-year
isometric
anniversary
RPG?
of Fallout Shelter, which we announced and
Like,
released.
Why
right
not do a
here
remaster
at
of Fallout
E3.
1 or
And
do
we
Fallout
have
1
some cool
story
surprises for you.
in the Fallout 4
Fallout
engine?
Shelter is coming to the PlayStation 4. And because that guy said it, it's also coming to the Nintendo Switch.
So,
You
if
can
anybody's
play it
still
with the
playing that,
Joy-Cons or touch controls. And yes, it's still free.
free with microtransactions.
And excited to say these versions are coming out tonight. Again, thank you so much for your support of all that we do coming here tonight. When we see
Maybe it is
how
the right
many of
move
you
for them to
our
get
games
Fallout
have
76
touched,
or
it's incredibly special.
something besides
Especially
Fallout 4
Shelter. That game
out
has been played
to get
by
people
over
talking about
120 million people.
that game instead of people talking about how bad Fallout 4 was and how much of a
That is more
disappointment that
people
is.
than
But I
every
don't see how
game
that
that
fixes
we have made
anything
combined.
because now people, I think, will
Incredible.
just be disappointed
It does kinda
and
make you
complaining about
stop
Fallout
and realize
76.
that our
So what's the
games
point of
can have
having
new
two Fallout
lives
games
on
that,
any type of
that
device
are
or system.
disappointing?
And you know, when we looked at the iPhone 11 years ago, we had a few ideas for mobile games. Fallout Shelter was one of them. And we did have another one that was far, far more ambitious.
They should announce
and
a
we've been building
second
it.
mobile game, I
And
suppose,
it's
since they went down
in the
that
other
path.
franchise that you love from us. It is called The Elder Scrolls Blades.
It's been an hour and 14 minutes.
Like Fallout Shelter, we wanted an experience that we were not finding anywhere else. Here it is.
So is this kind of an infinite
Blades,
runner
at its heart,
where you
is
hack
a
and
pure
slash people?
Elder Scrolls game. A massive first-person RPG with console-quality graphics, but with a uniquely mobile experience. Believe me when I say you have to see this running on an
Looks
iPhone
like a
10.
dungeon
This
crawler.
gigantic screen does not do it justice.
It-
You can
it-
tap to move or use dual sticks.
Here's a question: can you
Combat
connect a
is all
Bluetooth
new,
controller
and it
like
follows your specific
the
movements and timings.
what is that called? And there's some Bluetooth controllers that are pretty popular out there. And you click.
Harkening back to the
You get a
first
hover
Elder
around
Scrolls Arena,
things you can search.
this game features both handcrafted and procedurally generated dungeons.
Yeah, this feels like a procedurally
And
generated
it's not just melee.
dungeon
You have a
crawler.
range of abilities and spells you can use.
Procedural.
And of course, you can create your own character and be who you want to be.
Generated.
Improving them, leveling up,
I'm
picking
calling
new
it a
abilities.
dungeon crawler. There's a lot of Japanese dungeon crawlers that have been made and almost with
entire
100%
game can be
consistency.
played in portrait mode.
They're boring, repetitive, and
That
cheap
one was
efforts.
incredibly important to us, that you could play it however you wanted.
The thing you'd want from an Elder Scrolls game
You never
is:
know when you'll need a
are there traps? Are there people to talk to?
To hold your coffee. What do you?
Or are there quests to do other things?
Degenerates. And it's not just dungeons. It's incredible outdoor areas. Yes, running on a phone. It really looks and plays incredible.
Are there any cities? Are there any NPCs that you're not fighting? Doesn't seem like you do
Blades has
anything other
several
than
modes
fight.
of play. First, the Abyss, a roguelike experience where you can see how far you can go in an endless dungeon. And the Arena, where you will do battle one-on-one against other players. And the main mode, the Town. This is the hub for your story and quests. You are a member of the Blades, the Empire's top agents. Forced into exile, you return home to find your town destroyed and need to rebuild it.
Weren't
Yes,
the
Blades
Blades
also features a town building
Skyrim?
mode. You'll decide what your town looks like and be able to upgrade and decorate all of the individual elements in it. As your town levels up,
The
you'll
entire
unlock new
town is
NPCs,
more than what
quests, and
you can
more.
do in Skyrim,
You can
I
even
suppose.
visit your
You can only
friends'
decorate a house in Skyrim without mods.
This
The problem with Skyrim is that it has so
This
many
is an Elder
mods
Scrolls
that
game
you
that you
can
can
still
play
be playing
however
it and having
and
fun and
wherever
getting
you
new
want.
content.
And we are going to bring Blades to every device and
It gets
system
harder
we
and
can.
harder for new
Phones,
Elder Scrolls games
PCs,
to top
consoles, also virtual reality on mobile, all the way up to
Playing
high-end VR
this game,
on PCs. And what's really cool is all of those connect to each other.
it's going to
So
be a
one of my
really
dreams
rotten game
is we'll
if
go
it
back to that
comes.
portrait mode, which I like to call meeting mode.
Uh,
Because if you're in a meeting on your playing a game, in portrait mode, no one knows
Like-
you're playing a game. And so with Blades, you could be in a meeting playing Blades against someone at home.
You're
in
playing
VR.
it with no sound?
Blades is coming.
And you're
this
still
fall
looking at your phone
for
in the
free.
middle of a meeting. It must have some kind of
And you can pre-order it
microtransactions.
tonight on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Also, this week,
How can you
go
pre-order
to
it?
playblades.com and register for early access. If you're here at E3, Blades is going to be playable in our booth. So please, come by and check it out. You really need to
like
see it
VR,
running on the phone.
sure,
We'd
maybe
love
it
to see
makes
you.
sense.
Please come by.
The problem with VR is that you can only play for about an hour before you get tired. So it doesn't make a lot of
I just want to
sense.
thank you all again, all of our
And
fans
consoles,
here,
it makes
everybody
no
watching
sense.
online, for all of your support over the years. It is so exciting to show you all that we have
Well, they've
coming
almost
out this
got
year,
to an hour and a half
it is
now.
an honor and a blessing
But
to
they really haven't
represent all of
said
the
anything
incredible
interesting.
people
I don't
at
think I've
Bethesda
liked
Game
a single
Studios.
thing they've had
We
to
have
say.
3 offices now in Maryland, Montreal, and Austin. There's a lot of them here tonight. I want them to hear your appreciation for their work.
Where's Dishonored or something? Say something about Dishonored. This is almost a poor omen that the team behind Dishonored is about to be fired.
Just the best team and group of people I could ever hope for. Amazing.
This guy's
We
not
also thought,
a very
since
good
we're all
presenter.
here
Also,
together tonight and it's so special, maybe we do something a little different too.
they should have hired somebody else to talk.
And tell you what we have coming beyond this year in the future.
They have
We
like
also
one
been
person
working
mic'd in the
a
audience.
brand new next generation
It sounds like
single player game.
there's either somebody talking really loud or they
But
have a
this
mic
one
right over
is
somebody
in an
who's talking
all-new
loud.
epic franchise. Our first wholly original franchise in 25 years.
They should have 2 or 3 at this point. New franchises.
We're excited to announce our next adventure.
So it can't be a fantasy RPG and it can't be a sci-fi RPG. So it could be, what, a horror RPG? Like, what else do you go with? Something ocean related? Space? Oh yeah, they were talking about a space game, weren't they? Yeah, that was a rumor. So, space RPG. I guess since Mass Effect failed, somebody else can try that. Mass Effect Andromeda in particular failed. The question is, what is the equivalent of walking in a space RPG? Is it landing on planets and walking?
Starfield is a game that we have spent years
I assume it's
thinking
an
about
RPG.
and working on. Something we feel uniquely positioned to pull off and that we're incredibly
Arguably,
excited about.
A
But
space game could be
we're also
in
building toward the game
the
after
Fallout universe or the Elder Scrolls universe easily.
And it's the one you keep asking about.
So they're talking about Starfield, and then it seems like they're going to announce a new Elder Scrolls game too, right after they talk about Starfield, so you forget. Well, this is going to be too much of a showstopper because they have nothing to show about Starfield. Elder Scrolls 6. Both of these single images, single videos, that's it. What's the deal with the blinking
Okay, actually,
bracelets?
now I'm really done. I just want to thank you all for your time tonight, the time you've spent in our worlds. We'll see you out there.
So, teasers of games that won't be out in the year. Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Another round of applause, please, for Todd Howard.
And a bunch of things I'm not too happy with. I'm not even sure about Doom Eternal, whether that's a sequel, single-player experience or not.
Thanks also to all of our studios and teams around the world who are so dedicated to giving our fans the very best games. If you're a gamer on any platform of any kind, we think we've
This
got
presentation
something
is
for
a
you.
lot
And
like the
I hope you're as
Microsoft
excited about
presentation
what you've seen
where
tonight as
they
we
have
are,
somebody
whether
talk,
it's a new
then
Fallout
they
game,
take a break,
new
and
Elder
then
Scrolls game
somebody
from
else comes
Bethesda
out
Game
and talks,
Studios
and
that
then
you can play on your phone
then
for
they
free.
take a break and somebody else comes
Rage
out.
2, Doom Eternal, and so much more. We're really excited. Now, remember, if you want to be one of the first to play Elder Scrolls Blades or join the Fallout 76 beta, you need to go to Bethesda.net and register. It's easy and it's free. For all of you here
And
with
you
us
probably
tonight,
have to install
thank you
the
so much for
Bethesda
joining.
launcher.
The party is going to continue afterwards. For everyone else around the world, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone have a good night and a great E3.
Let me just quickly double check. The only thing happening tonight is, I believe, right about now, the Devolver Digital stream is coming up, and Devolver Digital is just a bunch of BS, and they're not going to actually announce any games. If they do, it'll be like one game, and it's not worth my time. Tomorrow, on Monday at noon, will be the Square Enix press conference, and I'll try to be awake to stream that, hopefully. And then at 2 p.m. Central Time, noon, Square Enix will be at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At noon Pacific Daylight Time or 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Limited Run is also going to have a presentation, and at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Ubisoft is going to have its presentation. And then the PC Gaming Show will be at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 6 p.m.
Back to GameSpot's coverage of E3
Eastern
2018.
Daylight Time.
That show ended.
Let's go ahead.
I don't even know. There's Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield. Things we knew were real.
And Sony's interactive show will be at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Sunny San Francisco.
And then the Nintendo live stream will be at 9 a.m.
Bethesda.
the
That was the longest
12th.
press conference ever.
And I won't cover that. So
85 minutes.
come back
Okay.
tomorrow,
I mean, it started off on definitely a slow
and
note, a
we'll
cringy
have several
Rage 2 stuff,
press
they
conferences
took
to
them, like, what, 10 minutes
watch.
to finally get to gameplay of anything?
I'll
There's a
also
lot of
be
awkward pausing and
streaming,
I felt
guess,
just
a little
like
Hearthstone.
don't do close-up shots on an audience
That is
that is not reacting
Yeah.
to Andrew WK.
Interesting. Maybe I should
He's the focal point.
Just
start
And he was
streaming
asking if
right
people were ready to
now.
rage. They clearly
Little
were.
they did not
Hearthstone.
look ready to rage. No.
It was a
Wait.
hot day in LA. Then they were kind of tired. It looks like. Rage 2.
Yeah.
Or no, let's start
Stop
off
this
actually.
recording.
Shit, I kind of want to start with Bethesda stuff. Let's start off with Fallout because we found out that's the one thing
Yeah.
we were
Right.
really curious about. Todd Howard has confirmed that it is an online multiplayer game. Although you can play it solo.
You can play
So-
it solo.
You can.
But
it'll be challenging.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
in West
guess I have a
Virginia with
little
6
bit of Hearthstone I
distinct
need to
areas.
play tonight, so
you can be playing with
you're
other
gonna get a little
characters, and you
extra
can build bases anywhere, which
because
people pointed out
of
is a
the
mod in Fallout 4,
Time
but this is
Tinker's
base
arena,
game material
arena
on
run
Bethesda's part.
function.
What else to talk
So-
about?
There are nuclear weapons that
There are
you
nuclear
can...
weapons you can take control of, which is very
Let's switch over
weird
to
Yeah, so
in
this.
hang on.
day and age.
So if I spend a bunch of time
And
building a base, putting all my time and resources
switch
into it, someone could
to
just come and blow.
Because this and install that and do this. I don't have a lot to talk about, particularly, and I'm not really set up to stream Hearthstone today, so we'll have to just have a little bit of a extra here. Let's see. We've got our standard Hearthstone stream that I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I'm covering the news. I need to play take 25 turns, play 20 spells, or play 3 dragons. Also, I have a free entry to an arena. I don't think I'm gonna do that right now. Take 25 turns, should be pretty easy. This is on my Asian account, that's why this arena is out right now. I guess I will probably be playing some Hearthstone in between streams tomorrow. In general, let's just play Zoo. No, I don't want to play Zoo Warlock. What am I thinking? Let's play mid-range Hunter. Bethesda's stream pretty bad. Not a good stream. Microsoft stream very good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It did the one thing that you'd wanted to do, which is try to convince the last few people to buy an Xbox One X or an Xbox One. There is kind of a nefarious push of the Microsoft Games Pass service as trying to get people arguably used to the idea of not owning their games or not feeling like they own their games. Legally in the United States, at least, technically you've never owned a game and you've only had a license that could be revoked at any time. But the idea of the Games Pass service, if you stop paying for it, you lose access to your entire library, versus if I stopped paying for Xbox Live, I'd just lose access to the online service. There's a big difference there, and arguably even that is a bit of a concern, how you don't own the right to play games online when you're playing it through Xbox Live. Meanwhile, PC gamers like me, like, I don't have to worry about that. If I buy the game on Steam, or it just kind of works until, at least until Steam goes out of business or the servers get shut down by the developer or publisher. And when the servers get shut down by the developer or publisher, they shut them down for all the platforms, and in every instance I've ever heard of that happening. So yeah, PC's definitely better in that case, because you're not paying an extra fee to play games online on top of your internet service, which you'd be paying for console gaming or PC gaming. So you are paying a premium probably for a better PC and more expensive PC device than compared to a console, which is sort of cheaper, but they're getting more and more expensive. See, I just need to play 25 turns, which is about 2.5 games, I guess. Like, that would be the amount, wouldn't it? 2.5 games. I should have looked at some of the other quests. As far as playing dragons, I'll have to build a deck to play dragons, but I'll do the arena run, and I'm sure that the arena run will help there. And I'm not sure what the third quest was, but I need to get one of them done right now because I want an empty spot to fill up tomorrow. I'm not even personally going to bother to watch the Devolver Digital stream, not after last year. I stayed up rather late following that stream, thinking the joke might be over at some point, but it just never ended. It just kept going on and on and on. And what, if you look up Devolver Digital's eStream of 2017, you probably are only seeing the first skit. You're not seeing the hours and hours that it just kept on going. It was not fun, nor did I think it was funny. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Wind Fury. Alright. Kill this. And attack here. And attack here. Attack here. Here. And there. Monday will be weird. We probably won't cover much non-E3 video game news. Even the random people who plays games on Steam seem to have realized, or at least maybe been stopped by Valve directly, because to not post something this weekend, because I've not really seen any announcements of very many new games at all. Let's play a secret to upgrade. Let's do this. And this. And this. This. And that. So I assume it's only counting the turns I played, so I've played 8 turns. I would also like to win, for as little as that often happens. This one here, and killed that one. Play that. And what else do we want to do? Just gonna end the turn there. And Bethesda announced it's a space game that it was rumored that it was making, and nothing else. Really, a couple mobile games, disappointments that we already kind of knew about, but nothing great. Not a good conference for Bethesda. I don't even know how to better enunciate it. It's really, really bad. The rage element in particular should have been a much bigger thing. They could have very easily teased not saying anything about rage, and throughout the entire presentation just not said anything about rage at all, and play it straight. Like, don't jokingly pretend like you're not going to talk about it. Seriously, act like you're not going to say anything about rage, and then at the very end you go, I've got one more thing, and then you show the rage trailer, and then you've got people hyped in it. Build a little anticipation to that. And then you probably could have started with Fallout 76, because that kind of was the only thing anybody would have been interested in, and that went for so long that you didn't really need to have it in the middle of the stream.
One for all and all for me.
I appreciate your efforts.
Let's see.
Bear arms.
Yeah, I'm about to lose, but I can end the turns. That's all I need to do. I don't believe my Asian or America's account has switched over to the new special event that they're doing for special arena runs. Activision Blizzard really only has enough time to do these special arena runs in between whatever major esport events they're doing.
That was
So
wild.
they don't happen very often.
That was wild. Well played.
So this definitely proving that they could beat me. It's so crazy how high the skill level is for somebody who's just at rank 20.
Time goes short.
Like, why aren't you at rank 10? Why aren't you at rank 5? It's been 10 days. So somebody's just sitting here doing this.
I appreciate
So 11 out of 25 and 7 out of 20 spells. Let's play again. Although, you know what, I could probably just play Tempo Mage, and this will be an interesting little sampler of what every Monday and Wednesday and Friday is usually for me.
Jaina versus Rexa.
Let's the hunt.
Inherently, the problem with Bethesda's presentation isn't so much that the presentation was bad, because you could have a pretty awful presentation and it not matter if you had just invested in your games and had games to show. And it kind of builds into itself in the way that I don't feel like they really put enough time and money into the development of Prey. I don't feel like they put enough time and money into the development of Dishonored. By the way, Dishonored not mentioned at all in the stream, so I wouldn't be surprised by this time next year if that group, that studio is shut down. I think if Doom Eternal is supposed to be the sequel to the Doom reboot, it's probably too early to be teasing that, because either it's going to not have enough time to be developed itself, or it's just going to be a low effort development. Even if Doom Eternal is great, releasing it so close to the to other the previous Doom doesn't help much. Wolfenstein didn't really need another game being released. I guess technically, I think I could argue Wolfenstein isn't actually getting another game released. However, because Wolfenstein Youngblood is not starring BJ Blazkowicz, and I don't know if that last remnant of what Wolfenstein is taken out, if there's any Wolfenstein left in that game. Because Wolfenstein 3D was a dungeon crawler in a castle, playing as a character, shooting people. Now it was turned already into a parkour-ish first-person shooter that the first Wolfenstein game, I guess, did still have you going through a castle at the beginning of the game, but then there were a lot of areas that were more open world with several different paths, and it really feels like what little of Wolfenstein that was in Wolfenstein 1 may have gotten narrowed down into even less in Wolfenstein 2. Wolfenstein The Old Blood was a zombie game. It is a good thing, I suppose, they didn't go with that again. But having BJ Blazkowicz taken out of the picture is crazy. It also is a little crazy, it's twin daughters. Like, I think a little bit of better planning would have had like one male child, one female child that doubles the number of characters you can play as in Wolfenstein Youngblood.
You asked for it.
Number of genders you can play as. I don't even know. I'm now just forgetting everything about the Bethesda. Let's think about the Microsoft presentation. How much of that do I remember? Because that was so long that even by the time we were at the end of the Microsoft presentation, I was forgetting games. Giant Bomb had an interesting thing where they were going to list every game that had what Battle Royale or talked about Battle Royale in the game, in their games, and honestly there wasn't very many games that mentioned Battle Royale. I think even the video game industry has learned some discretion and realized that just adding Battle Royale to your game is not going to help it. There was one game in a section near the end of the presentation that does have Battle Royale in the name. I can't tell you what it is in the Microsoft presentation, and it is in the middle of about 20 other trailers that just played back to back to back, and they had nothing to say about them. Which arguably maybe Bethesda should have done that too, is just shown trailers back to back to back of their games and not talked about anything because they didn't have anything to say anyways. Not tried to talk about those. There was at least 6 minutes straight of Todd Howard, Rod Howard? I don't even know what his name is.
What do you ask of me?
Just blubbering on and wasting people's time.
Pass me that arc light spanner.
There we go.
Job done. There is a method to my madness.
There was at Microsoft the Ori and the Will of Wisps. There was that Indian game called Rija, I think, R-I-J-A, that is interesting because there really aren't a lot of India-based video game companies or Indian-based video game companies out there, so that one sparked my attention about 4 or 5 months ago when I first saw it. A bunch of Gears of War garbage, none of which I liked. Halo Infinite was at the beginning of the Microsoft presentation, a tease of that. The biggest thing by far in the Microsoft presentation was the announcement of them starting about 3 studios and acquiring 2 major studios in the creators of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Ninja Theory, and the creators of We Happy Few, Compulsion Games, which Giant Bomb's Jeff Gerstmann says apparently he has seen more about We Happy Few, and he is reporting that the game has been majorly improved and turned into the first-person game like BioShock that people thought it was originally and wanted it to be, and they've really toned down the random survival game aspect that we saw in the initial beta. It's a little weird that Gearbox Publishing now is working with Microsoft. I don't think they really care, but there we go. So I get 100 Aeon and off, 100 dust, and 100 gold. And I'm set rather nicely for tomorrow. I needed just one slot empty, so let's go ahead and quit and move over to my Asian, well, I was on the Asian account, my European account. So, as a brief recap, as we look here to make sure that all my daily quests have been are fine. I guess in theory, the European account usually takes really late to trigger, so yeah, this one was triggered too, and so it's going to give you a free arena entry.
The future is the past, and vice versa. I have dubbed this phenomenon the Taverns of Time.
So I have the Spelunker, or take 15 turns, or play 20 spells. And there's no reason to quickly finish all this, so let's... Right, now the question about Spelunkers I need to double check. Is this the Monster Hunter or Dungeon Run bosses? It's Dungeon Run bosses that I'd have to do. So Kobolds and Kobolds and Catacombs, Dungeon Run, choose. And keep on playing a previous game that I left unfinished. So by doing this, I'll either finish one of those quests or a different or finish the one quest I had before. Yeah, so streaming this on YouTube's not great. Already have one content ID claim. I almost certainly would guess that it is from the rap music from the skating game trailer that was shown in the Microsoft press conference. I can't really imagine whose other music would have even been content ID claimed. Notifications, because I've been scheduling the videos, have not been playing, so apparently scheduling things is a total mistake when live streaming to YouTube. And I guess I haven't been getting a lot of views, or any views at all, because E3 is not a valid game under the gaming category. So when you select what category on YouTube, there's a subcategory that says type in the name of the game. E3, not labeled as a game, so unless I was to rephrase the video as a news presentation, which I suppose is accurate still, then I'd be able to probably, if I just say it's news, it won't show up in the it won't have a secondary category. So in general, I'm not really getting any views for streaming this stuff, but it still is something I would have watched anyways. In fact, I'm watching every performance twice to improve upon my own commentary. I'm watching Giant Bomb, which is 6 allegedly professional veteran video game critics sitting around, and and I'm commenting on it. I'm looking for other people who are commenting on it too that I might run across on YouTube, and seeing if somebody has some form of insight or information that I missed, that I didn't collect, or that they knew because they had an inside source. Of course, I can't really improve myself if somebody has inside information. I can only improve myself by listening to people and saying, are they saying something more informative, or are they saying informative things more often? Or do they have a better way in which they're delivering information and criticizing the information? But for the most part, so far, I've seen, it seems like everybody's saying about the same thing.
Not a morning person.
Shields up.
So, if you're new to Hearthstone, I suppose we could explain what the dungeon run boss modes are about. You're given ever increasing strength enemies for a run of about 8 enemies, and you're trying to beat them. So the first enemy that you fight is going to be pathetically weak, but you also are going to be pathetically weak, and you can win in about 3 turns. Let's just play this. But as you win, you're allowed special treasure cards to pick up every now and then, and you're allowed to pick from 3 new cards. So here's a treasure card, like the candle is a great one, and then you have 3 sets of cards to pick to build your deck and add more cards, because you start with like 15. And let's see, I want Knife Juggler. I'll take Knife Juggler. So since I've won 1, unless I've totally misread it, that should have been progress. But I didn't see any pop-up that said I progressed, so I could be wasting my time. So after this game, I'll specifically take a moment to go back and listen and double check. Each of these characters you fight have different abilities that you don't see in the regular game, so there's a nice new twist fighting against these characters. It's kind of a sad statement though, you can't play as these characters or have different hero abilities like these heroes, because like these enemies, because there's just most of these hero abilities aren't balanced well enough. Let's see. Do I want to play this? Or do I want to do this? I'll just do this. Just gonna draw a card. So neither one of these trigger. Alright. If I play this and then do that, that works pretty well.
Come here.
And see, his special ability steals characters from you, which makes things like taunt a lot more difficult. This character is actually not that good either if he steals them. Let's see, what does he steal? Anything with 2 or less attack, which is everything I've got. continue to play cards.
Shields up.
See, can I think of anything else that happened during the Microsoft press conference? It was really, really big. Really, really big. But we are batting 2 out of 3 with EA's press conference not interesting me. And similar things can definitely be said about Bethesda's conference. Let's see. I'm playing as a warlock, and the warlock has a tendency to damage his own hero. Okay, so I wanted to do this with this, I guess, would be the best one. Ideally, that would have done 4 damage, summoned 4 creatures,
Give me a quest.
done more damage. Seems like he's got a victory, which is fine, losing to these guys, because then that just resets the run to the easier characters anyways. My Hearthstone deck tracker app just resets.
When adventurer dies, Cobalt King is getting all the loot.
Let's see. Yes, we did make 1 progress there. However, take note that taking 15 turns isn't counting, and playing 20 spells is not counting. And getting rid of or trading a quest that gives you a card pack would be insane. Just the worst decision possible. Because a card pack is worth 100 gold, and at the very least, I think it's 150 gold actually. Right now, Hearthstone does have a pretty good bundle where you get 10 packs of assorted expansions for about 40% off, and that's a good deal. Certainly, if somebody wanted to support me and watch me open card packs, I'd be happy for them to friend me on battle.net and then figure out if they can gift me that expansion, that bundle. I'm not sure that you actually can. You can gift card packs, I think, but maybe you can't even do that much. Well, people can friend me, certainly on battle.net anyways. But in general, with the Steam Summer Sale, very, very close to happening in the Battle Week, it makes no sense to spend money on Hearthstone, a game series that eventually I know I'm going to get bored of and quit playing, versus buying a more permanent game. My plans for the Steam Summer Sales to buy all of the Pinball Arcade Pro Packs, because they are losing the licenses on June 30th for the Pro Packs, and because of that, like, it's unlikely anybody will pick up the licenses for those actual real world pinball tables that they are emulating. So if you're a fan of old school pinball, get the Pro Packs of Pinball Arcade. There's quite a few of them, and it's going to be pretty expensive. For me, in particular, it's probably going to cost me somewhere around $300 just to buy pinball, and so that pretty much busts my budget for purchasing games during the summer sale. And it's hard to justify to spend any money during the summer sale, considering this YouTube channel has basically no way to pay for itself ever since YouTube changed its partner program details. I need another 750 subscribers before they'd even start to consider me for the partner program. I have plenty of watch time, but asking for 1,000 subscribers when it was like 100 before is ridiculous. Of course, people can gift me games, friend me on Steam and gift me games, and that's a much better system, I think, to ask people for that than it is to ask them for Hearthstone cards. I'll certainly take Hearthstone card packs and open them, and because people I know like to watch the card pack openings.
Come midnight.
Let's keep on playing. Should be able to win in probably 3 turns. Let's see. You'd have to do something pretty crazy. This, and this. Didn't need 3 turns, could do it in 1. So we don't even need to continue, I can just leave it there. That daily quest is gone, and so now we have 1 empty for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and celebrate and open this card pack. I've been getting some rather good luck lately with gold and legendaries on the basic card packs. So I'm not sure if maybe they tweaked it so you get more epics and more legendaries as you get closer and closer to having a complete collection. I really don't have a complete collection or anything too complete for my European account, and still you see there is 1 epic here, which is just below legendary, and another epic here, which 2 epics is a pretty big payout. It feels like they're making it easier. Let's see. And apparently I already had one of those epics, so I'm gonna disenchant that for 115 dust, which I wish that was more. And then we can use the keyword new to see the new cards we did need. One of those. It would cost me 400 dust to enchant another one of these, so that's not good. And then if I use the keyword missing, we can get an idea of the classic cards that are missing as I'm trying to build up a complete collection of classic cards on the Asian account. I'm missing 3 epics, 1 legendary here, a lot of cards like this that cost 100 that are just rare cards. A lot of rare cards here, and some epics and some legendaries. Just epics and legendaries for the paladin. A bunch of rare cards for this priest. A bunch of rare cards for the rogue. The fact that I don't have a complete collection, at least for rares, makes it very difficult to make a standard deck, even regardless of what expansion is out right now and you can play with. If you just don't have the basic cards, and it gets harder and harder for new players to try and play Hearthstone when they are left with a considerable amount of cards, even in the basic set, not the basic set but the classic set, yeah, that they're missing. I think Hearthstone is old enough now that you could probably just hand all the classic cards to new players and just say, everybody gets these cards, everybody can make the decks from there. They've got plenty of other expansions for other people to play. 18 pages worth of missing cards just on classic. If I look at all standard cards, it will be over 50. Yeah, it's 60 pages of classic cards are missing, and all cards, if you try to play wild, 136 pages. That's way too much. Okay, now all I need to really do is just double check. There's really no reason why the Americas account should have turned over yet, but maybe it did. That would kind of suck if it did, but we can play these quests. These quests are really easy.
Pull up a chair,
and they're giving you dust, and they're being very generous. It's a shame they're daily quests, however, and not the regular quests that you would expect. This will be interesting because I'll have this quest and this quest tomorrow, and then when the new arena run kicks in tomorrow, it will give me 2 new quests, I think. So either it's going to overwrite something or something else is going to happen. I could try to win a game with a shaman really quickly, since I can't. Like this, here's my Murloc shaman. I was on an incredible win streak Friday when I was playing this, so it wouldn't be too much to try to get a victory here. In fact, I could probably get a quick disconnect if I'm really lucky and just be done with it.
Thrall versus Anduin.
Not even have to play.
The light shall bring victory.
For Doomhammer.
Show off my somewhat successful, at least rank 20 Murloc deck. It suffers from not having a spell that does any, or a minion that does any direct damage. So if somebody can put up a good defense against the Murlocs, there's nothing else that can or needs to be done. That they'll just win. Come on, play. Play this, that'll bump him up to a 3. Return. Let's see. If I play this, it'll make him a 4. And then I could do this and this, I suppose.
Out of my jungle.
Okay, so we play this one, and then we play this one. There we go. 14 to 30. But that still could be messed up pretty easily. Lose 1 health for each card in your opponent's hand. Okay. So I attack with this one, and that one, and that one, and that one. He's down to 1 versus 30. And I haven't even triggered my quest. I need to play 3 more minions, which I could do next turn if he cleared the board, and then that would bring out Megafin.
You have been.
But don't even need to worry about that. We just needed to do that. Now Friday I said don't end the win streak, but it's pretty late and I'm gonna have to try and wake up early tomorrow and stream. So that's gonna be it for the stream. I hope other people enjoyed the Bethesda stream more than I did, but I don't think they did. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. Maybe that helps out a little bit. If you want to friend or follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description. And if you want to support me even further, friend me on Steam, gift me a game. If you don't want to make a decision, gift me a gift card. Or you can just look at my wish list if you can't pick. That's it. So thank you for watching. Have a good evening.